Tonight, it's game one of the World Series as rookie sensation Randy Arozarena leads the Rays against Mookie Betts and the Dodgers. After a pair of wild seven-game championship series, both teams have their sights set on the Fall Classic tonight at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox.
And both teams just flawed enough to make it interesting. A lot of young stars in this game, like great players, and all sorts of emotion. Baseball's sort of allowing players to flip a bat and stare at a home run. There's no crowd. They're providing the juice. I think it's great. Baseball's been very fun in the postseason. A lot of bat flipping and trash talking, and it's been fantastic. And here's Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Pretty miserable game for the Cowboys last night.
Oh, yeah.
Losing to the Cardinals 38-10. Ezekiel Elliott had 2 fumbles in a 3-play span in the second quarter.
Brutal.
Following the game, Zeke talked about how he felt that loss was on him.
I don't think it really was much of what they did. I think it was me. I'm supposed to be a guy this team can rely on. I'm supposed to be a guy that this team can lean on when times get rough, and I just wasn't that today. I got us started off to a terrible start. The defense they were playing well, but I killed our momentum. I want to say I'm sorry, and this one's on me, and I need to be better for this team.
Yeah, well, it's not totally on you. You weren't great, but that defense is doing you no favors.
No, but it's nice that he said that because that's rough.
That was a bad fumble right there.
The Cardinals used Elliott's 2 fumbles for touchdown drives of 54 and 27 yards.
It definitely set the tone.
And a 14-0 lead.
Yeah, it set the tone.
Not all turnovers are created equal. Those were 2 bad ones because they capitalized off of them.
Yeah.
And Zeke now has 5 fumbles this season, losing 4. No other running back even has 3.
No, it's different.
So this is a legitimate problem for him now. He has 413 yards and 5 touchdowns so far this season. But to Peter King's point about the Cowboys, their offensive line
is all backups now.
Not great. And to your point earlier, they're sort of chasing the Zeke-Dak rookie year.
It's not the same.
And it's not the same team. They're the number 2 offensive line in the league.
And now it's one of the weakest, all backups. It's not the same team they're kind of chasing something now, and it's like, okay, let's pivot and move on. This team now has to get significantly better at defense.
I still think they're going to win the East.
It's 6-10.
I still think it's possible, which is on that division and nothing else. But that's just the way that it's set up. The Eagles have a ridiculous amount of injuries. I don't believe in the Washington football team or the Giants, no matter what the situation was this weekend. But you're absolutely right. This is it's a phantom team. Like, they imagine that they're different than they actually are. The defense should be better than it is, and the offensive line is not the same offensive line. So I don't even think that Zeke is not the same guy. I don't think he's exactly the same guy, but you can't compare. The whole situation is different, and we just keep this idea in our mind that it's the same eat, Zeke, eat. It's not the same situation.
Yeah.
And look, I don't think that Dalton is as bad as he looked last night. I don't think that the Cowboys are as bad as they looked last night.
But he's a backup for a reason.
They are what they are at this point. And that division is what it is. And that's I just don't know what changes they can make in season now to get much better than they are. And I also think we probably needed to give them a little more time. We keep forgetting Mike McCarthy is a new coach there. Everything is new. Maybe this year is just a wash for them. I mean, that's not really acceptable for Cowboys fans or that brands, but that could just be the reality of the situation. So after starting 4-0, the Bills have dropped the last 2 games, and Josh Allen took responsibility for the team's lack of success, tying it directly to his own play.
We weren't good enough. I was not good enough. I got to do a better job. It's plain and simple. I didn't play very good tonight. I know that. I understand that. This team can't afford to have me play poorly. Early on, just not being as accurate with the ball as I should have been, making the right reads, making the right throws.
He wasn't great last night, but I wasn't on Josh Allen that they lost that game.
Well, Buffalo's defense, it's not the same.
Their defense is certainly not the same, and they had a strategy. They weren't going to let Kansas City go over the top.
That's right.
And-
Tyreek, you could have taken the night off.
And Kansas City said, fine, we'll just run the ball. And
they did.
Edwards-Helaire did exactly that.
I couldn't believe it was as close as it was late because it felt like Kansas City was mauling them for 3 hours.
They dominated them, but it did not feel that way.
It was nice to have an afternoon football game. It was great.
So early. They had Kansas City rushed for 245 yards. Buffalo rushed for 84 yards, and 42 of them were from Allen. And, yeah, I mean, it's just Kansas City dominated that entire game. And then they still had an opportunity to win at the end because, as you mentioned earlier, if they had fumbled that ball, and Buffalo would have had a chance, and they could have won the game.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone needs to overreact to these 2 losses from Buffalo. Obviously, the Titans loss was terrible. Losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, a lot of people are going to lose to Kansas City Chiefs this year. That's what it is. And Kansas City looks great, and that they showed you yesterday they can win multiple ways. We look at Kansas City and think they can only go over the top, and they're getting Le'Veon Bell next week, so they're only getting better. But I don't want to take too much away from Josh Allen in that game. I don't think that was on him. Finally, the Dodgers have announced that Clayton Kershaw will be the starter for Game 1 of the World Series tonight.
Not a huge pressure game. Game 1 is if you go out, you give us 6 innings. This is not like a Game 5 or a Game 7. A little less pressure than last performance.
It's his 3rd career Game 1 World Series start. He fanned 11 batters and only allowed 1 run through 7 innings against Houston in Game 1 of the 2017 World Series. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings to the Red Sox in Game 1 of the 2018 World Series. The World Series pregame starts tonight at 7 Eastern on FS1, then goes to Fox at 7:30 Eastern. We will have A-Rod on in a little bit to talk all about this series. The Dodgers are favored at -200, according to Fox Bets. Tampa Bay Rays at +160.
Boy, has Mookie Betts been big, both defense and offense. How great has he been?
I also love that the Lightning won the Stanley Cup, and
Bucks are
the
good.
Lakers won the NBA championship, and now we have the Dodgers and the Rays in the World Series. It's fun. And
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this series.
So am I. I think it's going to be a really good series. A lot of great young stars. Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie
Well,
News.
Dave Wannstedt won rings with the Dallas Cowboys. He was Jimmy Johnson's defensive coordinator, knows Jerry Jones well. Wannstedt's got more stories than anybody I've ever met. What do we make of the Chicago Bears? He does a bunch of Bears shows in Chicago, lives there. They're 5-1. They push the Buccaneers around the field, so that's something. That's why I like Chicago. I saw them literally push, 2 weeks ago, Tom Brady and that Bears football team around the field, that Bucs team around the field. So Dave Wannstedt coming up next. Rec Tech Grills, smart grill technology. They have PID control, or unrivaled precise temperature control with this grill. Built by grillers for grillers. You have 4 temperature readings on your controller on your phone. You can literally start your grill, cook your meat, your protein from your phone. Even heat distribution. Industry-leading 6-year warranty with Rec Tech Grills. Stainless steel build. Build one of them, buy one of them, you'll never buy another. Reviews speak for themselves. Follow them on social media. RecTech.com. RecTeq.com. Even heat distribution allows you to control your cook like a pro. Industry-leading 6-year warranty. This is a great grill, Rec Tech Grills.